Hey guys, May Flom here, and I am just having the most fun playing with these Scribbly Leaves and Pods by Dina Wakely. And I am loving these stamps because they make me think of all seasons, but right now, of course, I'm thinking of autumn. So what I am going to do is I'm going to start by taking some Distress ink, and I'm just going to ink up a couple of images and stamp them onto my tag. Now my tag is a manila tag that I coated with gesso, just a thin layer of the Dina Wakely gesso right on there. And the reason I did that is because I really wanted to just give it a layer that would be better for painting on, a little better for painting on, but also I wanted to be able to stamp a couple of stamps and have it not just immediately soak right in. So I've got my colors here, a little fossilized amber, and I am just stamping and stamping and stamping. You can stamp as many times as you want. I'm just going to do 3 for this example. And then you're going to take some clear embossing powder, and I will need to grab a piece of paper here to set under this. Just take a little clear embossing powder, sprinkle it on, shake off the excess, and of course, go put this away and lock up that embossing powder so that you don't make a big ugly mess. And then take a heat tool and heat set all that powder. Now, rather than go ahead and go through all of that, I have already got my tag, another tag here where I've already done that. And the reason I do the clear embossing powder, a couple of reasons. Number one, that's going to capture and lock all that distress. And yes, those distress inks did stay wet, and I am able to still get a really good embossing powder connection with those. Now, I've got a little distress ink here, and I put a little water in it. I'm just going to take my paintbrush here. And now I'm just going to paint in, and it looks like my paintbrush had another color in it, but that's okay. That'll wear off quickly enough. And I'm just going to start one color at a time, painting in little bits and pieces of this image. Now, what I love about this, and what you're going to notice right away here, is that the embossed areas are going to still stand out. They are going to, oh, and it's so much fun. I love this. They are really going to pop. Even though I'm coming in here and coloring over with distress, they're still going to be there and popping. And what I love about that is it gets such a depth, such a layer of detail that just wouldn't be possible any other way. And colors are a funny thing. This purplish looking color is fired brick. It just does not look like fired brick on here. Okay, and one more. I'm going to go again with the, let's see, go with fossilized amber right here. The Distress Minis are so great for this because, well, first of all, I love them because I can store so many in such a small area. But the other thing that I'm really loving, and if I need a little more water, just pull a little more water in, is that it's just the right amount of color to do a little project like this where you just want a little bit of color and just a little bit of fun. And I can add a little more color in here if I like. Just kind of depends on what I'm feeling. So if I want to add a little more in there, and then I'm thinking, and I think I'm going to put a little bit over here as well, and I'm just going to put a little directly on there just to show you why. You can do that. You can just stamp it directly and it'll be okay. As you can see, I just don't like doing it that way. I like doing it off, a little bit off. And I'm going to add a little bit. I'm just going to pick up a few of the colors I've got sitting here just to add a little bit of effect here and there. Okay. And now that once I'm happy with that, I'm going to have a little fun. I'm going to squirt it just a couple times with some water, and I'm going to just let it dry. I'm not going to use a heat tool on it. I am just going to let it dry and let all of the color do all of its wonderful wild things. one of the things I love about Distress ink is once this is dry, and I'm going to put a little water over here. If there's a spot, like say, I don't like the way that that's dry here, because we're working Distress ink on gesso, I can whisk it away, or if I just get it a little bit of water on there, I can just erase it. And I love that the gesso gives me a very, very flexible surface. As it is, I like where it stands. I want to do a couple more things though. So first, what I want to do is get out some black archival ink, and I want to stamp, let's see, I'm just going to pick one. So, or maybe two. Maybe I'll pick two. So I'm going to ink this up. I'm picking black archival ink because once it's dry and set, it won't react. And I'm going to take this off the block actually, so I can try to line this up really nicely here, and should be able to get pretty close. And you can see that I'm not trying to touch down the whole stamp because I only want part of it to go. I want kind of a messy, arty little bit of edge there, and then I'm going to repeat here with this leaf stamp that I've got going right here. And again, you can see how I'm only pressing parts of the stamp, and I'm just using my fingers to kind of lift. And if I wanted a little bit over there, I could go back and add a little bit on that side. Oh, I like that a lot. I like it. I like it. So I did that just to get a little contrast. And now where I'm at, I'm going to add a little gold spray. I love the Heidi Swap gold spray, and I'm just going to take it and flick a few drops here, add a few little droplets. And once this is dry, I'm going to stitch it, add a few buttons and a harvest sentiment, and my mixed media tag will be done. I hope that you've enjoyed this little look at how I like to do really super fun distress ink on a tag or surface covered in gesso. You could certainly utilize this on your scrapbook layouts or on your cards. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment or shoot me an email. I'll see you next time.